Hey guys, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, and
John here. Hello.
Oh boy.
It's been an emotional day. Okay, so we have to tell you now that we've only got 10 minutes for talking because we've been here pretty much all day. Dan has done an epic pedalboard build for John, which you will see. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, hello John Smith. John is a friend of Simon's and is now a friend of ours.
Oh yeah. Man.
Thank you. And you're a friend of mine.
Welcome, mate. Honestly, he only lives up the road.
I do.
But what are you doing tomorrow?
I'm going to Denmark to play a festival with this board.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we're a bit emotional because John's
Yeah.
just played us a couple of songs which you'll hear throughout the course of this video.
Oh my goodness.
So, given that we've only got 10 minutes, we are going to invite John back to talk a bit more about
How he does what he does.
biography and all of that, and all of the things that have astounded us today. But we've got about 10 minutes to run through this board
Yeah.
and explain what the heck is going on.
Sunset over Medford, tall Oregon pine, on my way to the next engagement with Joanna on my mind. My own business too much for some, a fight with the wrong guy in the wrong bar, maybe altogether in the wrong lifetime. Joanna doesn't worry though, she's half the world away. She's alright, long as I ring home every 6 or 7 days. I know her, she knows me too. She told me if there's anything she can do, I must call her. The earth will move, she came running, and I can make it through. There's trouble on the border, the man won't let me in. Oh, something about my face must be worrying him. There's this funny kind of sadness pushes and pulls me around at the same time. Between this old road and that new country, I'll be satisfied. Joanna doesn't worry though, she's half the world away. She's alright, I promise to abandon the search for an early grave. I know her, she knows me too. She told me that if there's anything she can do, I must call her, and the earth will move. She came running, brother, I can make it through. If I raise my hand into the sky, this history written in inches, it's a billion years behind. And I would hold those light years in my face when I fix Joanna in my mind. She's all right. She's all right. She's all right. Hey, she's all right. She's all right. She's all right. Well, my baby, be all right. I have made. And she's,
wow.
yeah, Madagascan rosewood with what is that? American redwood cedar.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Look at that though. So most modern rosewood guitars you see are usually Indian, right? So they're really dark.
Yeah, narrow grain.
But if you look at that, and when you see the Brazilian one in a minute, it doesn't look like that at all, does it?
No.
And it's knots and things. That's
Yeah, and it's roughly mirrored, so there's kind of a face, you know. Two
that's
eyes
great.
and a nose. It's sort of Tolkien-esque, weird.
Come on, let's hear it.
Oh, I just put on new strings, so it might be. She really sings, eh?
It's just a different experience.
Wow.
What I like with cedar though is you don't get that immediate kind of volume and punch that you get with spruce.
Yeah.
But the balance in it is just...
Yeah.
I just can't imagine what a microphone... Well, I can because I've heard the records, but
Yeah.
a microphone in front of that is just... It's so balanced.
It's a very different experience to an American acoustic guitar, which, like we were talking about Collins guitars, which I love, and there's so much projection in their spruce flat tops, right? And this is, if you try and flat pick this for the same kind of attack, it just doesn't work. But it's totally given to finger picking, and it's sort of strange. It just sounds like a British instrument. You can hear British music in it. It's very strange. And the weird thing about Fylde in particular, I've got quite a few of these guitars, and I've got a banjo, and the banjo sounds like this.
Wow.
You've just passed folk musician test number 1, which is not scared of banjo. So let's see how many more we can tick off before the end of the day.
I didn't wear my waistcoat, so.
Quite wide fingerboard.
Yeah, maybe.
1 3/4, is it?
Yeah. Actually, I don't know. So yeah, I have no idea.
1 3/4.
Normal.
How do I know this stuff? Is it? Can't be. Yeah, maybe just a tad less actually. Sorry. And we should talk about this in there.
0 fret.
Yeah.
Such a big deal with his guitars.
Yeah.
It's that sound is so unlike what I'm used to hearing from that sort of shaped acoustic guitar. It's amazing.
Yeah, but it's pretty deep
Yeah, right.
for this.
Yeah.
Do you know a folk song called Poor Old Horse?
No. You gonna play it?
It's the most bizarre folk. I heard some guy play it in a folk club once.
Sorry.
And it's all in a minor key, right? And it's that thing that I want to ask you about, which is that I don't even know how to explain it. Where the kind of the chord change, it's almost like jazz, but it's folk. Where the chord changes are almost following the melody of the vocal line.
Yeah.
So there's all that. Anyway, it's basically it's in a minor key right until the end. And it's all about this poor old horse, and you know he went out into the field and worked all day, and then the last line is "Let him die," and it goes to the major, like literally like that, because that's like religious music, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, the horse is probably relieved after all of that, isn't he? I'm definitely not gonna learn it for my gigs.
It feels like with American guitars,
Yeah.
the work in is serious. with
Right.
a lot of traditional American guitars. But with something like this, it just feels like the guitar is doing so much more work
Yeah.
for you. Does that make sense to you?
Well, these guitars pretty much play themselves. That's what I liked about it. The first time I played one was in the old Hanks on Denmark Street.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was way more expensive than I could afford. But it was the only guitar I ever played that really sort of sang of its own accord. I just played a few things and it started singing at me. And I thought, I have to have one of these guitars. I looked at the price tag and I was like, I can't have one of these guitars. I was like 23, 24. So I didn't
And
have
you're only 26 now, so...
Yeah, exactly. It's been a long 2 years, man.
Was there a guy called... Can you remember there was a guy called Paul Waller there at that time?
Of course,
Paul?
yeah. Brilliant guitar player too.
Hello, Paul, if you ever watch this. I know you do.
Hi, Paul.
He's a killer player as well.
Amazing.
Come on.
So, anyway, this is an Alexander model.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's only little, and I had Roger. Well, I had Roger do that. No, I asked Roger very politely to refinish it for me because the finish was really thick, and it wasn't singing. I sent it back to him, and he sort of French polished it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's French polished.
And now it's taking on a whole life of its own. It's got this diamond thing that I'm experimenting with, but this is a very different sounding.
Oh wow, much more full-throated.
A lot more forward, isn't it?
It's loud too.
Wow.
That is killer.
Little volume box.
That is amazing. And where are we now?
DADGAD.
Okay. Do you remember Eric Roach?
Yeah, man. Did you know Eric? Yeah.
He would do. It was ironically called "Smells of Dead Rockstar." It was that song. "Smells of Teen Spirit" in a fingerstyle.
Yeah, Eric. Seeing Eric when I did sort of, like so many people, changed the way I thought about acoustic guitar.
We should talk about him in there. One should always have one thing that you know in DADGAD. Play that, man. That's crazy.
Looks really small on you, man.
Thanks.
No, I mean, it's like because you're a tall gentleman. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Far out.
Isn't it?
It just pulls stuff out of you.
Yeah. Songs really fall out. Like
That is, wow. Boy, oh boy. How amazing.
Wowzers.
Isn't that amazing? You just, with an instrument like that, you connect with it, and it instantly, that's,
I've always
rarely I have that experience with an acoustic guitar.
Really?
Very, very rarely.
I've always thought as well that they become the product of their environment in a way.
Sure.
So if that was a brand new guitar straight from Roger,
Yeah.
it would, I mean, obviously all guitars age, but the fact that it's been with you doing the thing you do makes it this even more sonorous instrument, I would imagine. I'm sure that's true.
Well, yeah, they respond to being played, man. They take on this little life of their own.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yes, mate.
Once upon a time, one day a baby was born. And on that day it rained as it had never rained before. things appeared in human form and came around then everywhere to see this firstborn in the winter. Ancient man in hallowed hall said he's the one to save us all. That's the one of whom I was told. I was there. I was there in the winter. Bows low, lays down her sword, humble worship, she said, gentle Lord, I'd ask you so many things. And all the tribesmen gaze in wonder as he woke the bleeding thunder stopped and went away. That ancient man in hallowed halls put the books back on the wall. He dreamt uneasy dreams in the winter. In the winter. In the winter.
Okay, mate. What have we got here? Let's open them up and have a look, shall we?
We've got a bit of a cabling nightmare.
Okay.
This isn't for the faint of heart then. So this is my new Schmidt array.
Right.
A thing of tremendous beauty.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah, it's lovely. And I've got it working, but it's absolutely scandalous, the state of it.
Okay.
I've got in no rational order inputs and outputs. The main one is a stereo in from my acoustic guitar.
Okay. Through a TRS cable?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yep.
This is a Raven Labs preamp. And usually it goes in the stereo input and splits the signal to tip and ring.
Yep.
And then I can EQ each pickup separately.
Nice.
But what I thought I'd try is having the tip, which is the piezo pickup, going through the octave pedal.
Okay.
And just the ring going straight into the preamp.
Okay.
So I've sort of separated it before it gets mixed.
Okay.
Because I find that when I do the octave on the mic side of the pickup, you pick up a lot of all that airy stuff and little scratches and stuff go through the octave pedal. It just sounds like noise.
Right.
So I'd like to clean that up.
Sure.
Then comes out of here, out of the output, into this. This is a Lely AcouSwitch Junior, and this is like the.
They're great, these.
Right, you know these,
really
right?
good.
So this is
They're
sort of the brain of the whole thing. So that goes in channel A, and then it uses the loop circuit, which goes to the El Capistan.
Yep.
And I need to be able to access that because I do the sort of delay swell thing. so I need to be able to get my foot on there quite readily. Then it goes to the blue sky, and then it goes back into there. So that's part one of it, right?
Sure.
And that's a tuner just on a latch to the tuner out there.
Right.
So that's that. Then on another input, in my little Fylde Alexander, I've got this de-armond pickup. So it's a single coil sound hole pickup, and I want to have that through a separate effects chain that I can feed to an amp on stage.
Okay.
And play around with sort of stereo, miking and do some sort of strange and interesting stuff on stage. So I've got that going through this tiny little chain here, which is a tuner and a flint. And I tried to be clever and hide that under there and use this to control that, but I haven't really quite figured out how to do it. It seems unreliable. And then, so that's 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
And then when I get an electric guitar, I'll put it into whatever electric input I've done there. That goes into the second channel of the Lely.
Yep.
Uses the same effects loop as the acoustic guitar.
Right.
And then you can just switch between electric and acoustic. Okay. So I've got, then within that, different iterations of guitar lineup in a gig, I can move it around however that lands. I've got loads of options within that to use different guitars.
Sure. Okay, I think got some good options here, so we're going to get started, and we'll see you in a bit.
Sally, my darling, I wish I could wed you. Sally, my darling, I wish I could wed you. She smiled and replied, then you say I misled you. If young girls could sing like blackbirds and thrushes, if young girls could sing like blackbirds and thrushes, how many young men would go beating the bushes?
Alright, so this is the layout I'm thinking. We've got your preamp under here, because obviously you don't need to get to that. You've added a slide rig, which is awesome. As a layout that works,
it's really good.
You've got the separate chains there. Preamp is hidden underneath. We've got the stereo cable feeding the input here. I've got a stereo, like a wire splitter here, that we will then split to the different inputs.
So we're probably going to use all 6 ins and outs, because number 6 will be for the octave amp, which will go to like a DI box in the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So the octave effect is separate to what's going on here.
Yes, so it happens before
the preamp in.
Before it hits the preamp.
Okay.
And so then it doesn't suck the tone out of the mic end of the guitar.
Yeah.
Because the PSO.
And how do you find this buffer on the?
It's okay.
Is it all right?
Yeah, if you set the level just right,
it's okay.
You don't notice it too much.
Okay, cool.
And because it's on the piezo side, it doesn't matter about it sucking a little bit of tone, because it's a piezo pickup.
Sure, and
that's not where the tone comes from.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I think. I think we're away. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll get everything else powered up.
Yeah.
Preamp's powered. But we've got. Get everything else powered up, and then we'll start doing the audio. Then we can make some noise.
Yes, mate.
If
Dan, have you ever seen a board like this before?
Not one that specifically for acoustic guitar with split signals. And so just briefly, with this guitar we've got this Yarman pickup here. That's going into a separate chain, which is going into the super reverb. So if we can hear that in isolation for a second.
So we've got some tremolo going on there. Where's that coming from?
That's coming from the Flint,
Yeah,
and it's going into that slide rig.
yeah.
And that's basically just that pickup.
Just this pickup,
Now we've got,
which is a strange 60s single coil thing.
sounds unreal.
A de-arming.
It's just unreal.
Yeah.
And that's the hum.
So that's, oh, that's why, okay.
Yeah.
Going through that big amp.
So that is source number one.
That's source number one. Now the other pickup, there's two sources in the other pickup, right? And that is being split in the board and going to, I'll have a quick look under here. Now this is a preamp with your daughter on. Now it's a stereo preamp, okay? So the signal, what are the two pickup sources in here? You've got a piezo.
This is an LR Baggs dual source pickup. There's a piezo in there, and then stuck right onto the back of the guitar in there, there's a little condenser mic. And that's wired to a stereo jack.
Okay.
Which comes out and then...
So that's going in here. It's being split.
Yeah.
Now, one side, the piezo, is it the piezo side that goes to the octave first?
Yeah.
Right. You got to hear this. So what's happening is the piezo side's hitting the octave. The direct out is then going back into the preamp, but the octave out goes to its own output.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that you can do this stuff.
It goes to bass amp.
Yeah.
So that's going to the bass amp.
After the octave, it goes into my preamp.
Right.
And then the mic goes into the other channel.
Okay.
And then I sum both of those and send them to the Lely. And that's
Oh, of course. Sorry, and the Lely, and that's got the loop in it. Yeah. Okay, sorry. It's been a really long day.
What does the Lely do?
The Lely is sort of a control. It's like the brain of the whole thing. So you can choose between A and B channels.
Okay.
And then for when I put, because I've also, Dan's wired in the facility to plug an electric guitar in for when I've got electric gigs.
That's the next video.
So I can use the effects loop with an electric guitar. And so this basically, it's like a channel switcher, boost, mute, EQ, everything in. So I use it as a master EQ for the blended signal of the mic and the piezo.
Right.
I can take off a little bit of the really high treble and stick in a little more bottom end over the whole mix.
Right.
Yeah. So I tell you what's totally spinning me out, John, apart from everything else that is spinning me out today. So here you are, rooted in traditional music. For those of you who haven't had the chance, please hit iTunes or whatever other music service you use, or preferably buy a physical copy of one of John's records and just listen, because what you'll hear is this really amazing blend of some English, what I feel like is English European sensibility in folk roots, and then there's definitely an American blues and roots side to you as well, and that marriage is... Could you tell us briefly how that came about?
Yeah, I mean, I was raised on Ry Cooder and Paul Simon, Muddy Waters, American music. But then when I was 16, 17, I discovered Nick Drake.
Right.
And Bert Jansch, and British folk and roots music. And suddenly that, completely, everything sort of felt like it went widescreen. And then I discovered that music had influenced Led Zeppelin, who I loved. And suddenly I had a sense of the whole thing. So as I grew as a guitar player, I wanted to, keep playing American music because it's so great. But really sort of try and find my way into the British folk tradition as well. And I just love fingerstyle guitar, the one and the two, and then just, seeing where that takes you.
But what I find astounding about that is that sometimes that music can be steeped in tradition to the point where it's hard to move forward and to kind of develop, if you like. And yet here you are with a multi-source system and a pedal board and a load of stuff, sounding in no way inauthentic, sounding in no way.
Oh, thanks, man.
So moving.
It's just a joy to hear because it's kind of it's contemporary. It feels absolutely right now, but you can hear where it's rooted, and it's been a revelation for us two today.
Well,
so
thanks, man. Thanks so much. As long as it's in service to the song, I don't mind throwing an extra pedal on there. You know? And as soon as it
Good
stops
man.
being about the song, get it off.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Too
Wow.
cool. Right, John,
Yeah.
can we invite you to come back and let's talk about some of that history and maybe get into some of the playing side of things.
Oh yeah, because I'm watching you play and hearing the sounds that come out, and I'm going, trying to comprehend.
And we should look at your guitars from
Yeah.
Roger at
So
Fylde, and we should do
beautiful.
all that. There's so much more to do. But as we say, we've run really long today. It was predominantly about getting John's board built so he could head off on tour and do
Too complicated.
all of that.
I apologise, Dan.
Oh, don't be daft. Honestly, what an absolute treat.
Yeah, man.
I'm moved beyond words. Just hearing it. We're surrounded by this, so we've got all the amps, and it's all going, and the bass is coming from one end, and the swirls coming from over here, and then hearing you sing, it's like it's full on. It's so moving.
It's
Thanks so
nice.
much,
Nice
man.
day to have some music on.
Really,
TPS.
yeah, really great.
It's been a privilege for me, lads. Thank you.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Dan's got to go pick his kids up. John has got to go on tour. So I think, John, please play us out on the promise that you will come back and talk about more of this stuff in detail.
I promise. Absolutely. Right then. Sally, my darling, I wish I could wed you. Sally, my darling, I wish I could wed you. She smiled and replied, then you say I misled you. If young girls could sing like blackbirds and thrushes, young girls could sing like blackbirds and thrushes, how many young men would go beating the bushes? If all the young girls were hares on the mountain, if all the young girls were hares on the mountain, how many young men would take guns and go hunting? Well, Sally, Sally, it's you I'd be kissing. Sally, Sally, it's you I'd be kissing. She smiled and replied, you don't know what you're missing. Yes. If young men could swim like ducks on the water, if young men could swim like ducks on the water, how many young girls would undress and dive after? young men were here on the mountain, if all the young men were hares on the mountain, how many young girls would take guns and go hunting? Mountain.